In this tutorial, we'll show you how to define your financial counterpart in a contract signed with your writer and screenwriter. Technically, a writer's agreement is considered to be a transfer of underlying rights agreement. Therefore, after filling in the basic information of your agreement, you must have indicated in the grant of rights frame that it is a transfer of underlying rights contract. If you have any trouble completing these first steps, have a look at our other tutorials or our FAQs. Here is your contract once you've defined your rights. Now, let's look at the financial terms frame of the page. Click on Split of Revenues. Movie Chainer processes the information you filled in the grant of rights frame and breaks it down territory by territory and media by media. Click on the territory and media for which you want to define the financial terms. On the right-hand side, you can see the different revenue bases for the film, from gross receipts to net profits. If you've already allocated a share of the revenues to the other parties of your contract, that share of revenue will appear as a block of color. On the left-hand side, in the gray area surrounded by the dotted line, you can see the revenues that have to be allocated to the licensor, the screenwriter for instance, the share of revenues after recoupment of the minimum guarantee, and the share of revenues with no recoupable minimum guarantee. To define these elements, simply drag and drop them on the adequate revenue basis. Let's take a simple example. You're a producer who's just signed an agreement with a screenwriter whereby the share of revenue allocated to the writer after recoupment of the minimum guarantee is taken from your share. Then, all you need to do is drag and drop the box on the producer's share basis. In the pop-up, indicate which share of revenues is to be given to the writer after recoupment of his or her minimum guarantee. Two colored blocks appear. The first one is your share of revenues while the screenwriter's minimum guarantee is being recouped. For instance, if you agree to give your screenwriter a 5% share of revenues and a minimum guarantee of €100,000, the 5% will be allocated to you while you recoup the minimum guarantee. Once the minimum guarantee has been recouped, the 5% will start flowing to your screenwriter, which gives us the second box. Now, imagine you grant your writer with a share of revenues with no recoupable MG in perpetuity, starting once all the financiers have recouped their investment and based on net profits. Then, simply drag and drop the share of revenues with no recoupable MG box on the net receipts basis. Fill in the pop-up with the share granted to your screenwriter and don't forget to save. You can now see a third block appear, which means you're done. All the financial terms for your contract have been saved. We hope this tutorial has been helpful. Thank you for using Movie Chainer.